If you want to have a perfect experience, just open it and smell it. Okay. Good evening. My name is Izai, and I'm a botany student preparing for a PhD with Hortus Botanicus Leiden and Naturalis. I was the other day asked to give you guys a talk about my research, so here I am to talk about plants. So let me first start with my background. So I am from Japan, yes. I am from Osaka, which is the part of the Kansai area, which is famous for its food and culture. Funny things to mention, the name of the mascot character of Osaka, Kuidaure Taro, basically means eat till you drop. And it shows like how important the food is. So I went to Tokyo afterwards to study at the University of Tokyo. So during autumn, the main campus looks like this, covered with the leaves of the ginkgo tree, which also can be seen in the logo of the university. It looks beautiful, but if you're walking this road, try not to step on the fruits because they smell like vomit. That's the one. Sometimes it really does make sense. We take our shoes off in Japan when we get back home. So while I was in the university, I was doing some project in the University Botanical Garden, which is the oldest botanical garden in Japan, established in 1684. So my main interest has been always orchids, and at the herbarium there, I became more acquainted with them. So they had a collection of unidentified Bornean orchids. So I spent time flipping through books and then hunting the image or something like that, drawings or everything in the internet, and then I was basically identifying them. So Borneo is thought to be one of the hotspots for orchid diversity, so I learned quite a lot about them. So during this period, I had a chance to work on this bizarre orchid. You can immediately spot that it doesn't really have the green leaves. So everyone learns in school that plants are green and create their own energy through photosynthesis to sustain themselves. Then how on earth this plant can be living? If you get your energy from other organisms, you are called heterotroph. We humans eat other animals, plants, so we are heterotrophs. So otherwise you'll be called autotroph. So most of the, if you are making your own energy, you will be called autotrophs. Most of the plants are autotrophic. So the bizarre orchid turned out to be a parasite feeding on fungi. So these parasites are called mycoheterotrophs. Myco meaning fungi and heterotroph because, you know, parasites are by definition, they are relying on the other organisms, so they are heterotrophic. So there are a lot of many species known to have this lifestyle, and they're all boycotting photosynthesis and exploiting their fungal partners. That's why they don't have to be green. So every now and then we can come across these kind of articles. So these parasites only show themselves above the ground when they flower. Because they are often so small and living on the dark forest floor, it is extremely hard to difficult to notice them. So in Japan, we have the rarest species of all mycoheterotrophic plants, which is this one called oxygen. It is said that only a handful of people have seen this plant in real life. On top of that, the only sister species of this sky blue colored star can only be found in Africa. Also, we have a lot of mycoheterotrophic orchids in Japan. For example, this beautiful one only grows in Japan and surrounding areas and in India. These rare plants are not the only interesting things about Japan, but of course, other plants in Japan are interesting as well. I'm showing you the number of the endemic species in Japan compared to other island countries, which is similar in size. We have, so UK and New Zealand, we have the most endemic species, which means we have the unique plants. However interesting Japanese plants are, it is very hard to trade some of them internationally. The trading of endangered species is controlled by an international treaty called CITES, C-I-T-E-S. So unfortunately, we have no CITES certified botany institution in Japan, so it is extremely hard, almost nearly impossible to trade and research on them. I wanted to, so all the orchids are included in this CITES, so I couldn't really work on the orchids. So I wanted to work on orchids from all around the world, so I had to get out of Japan. Then why Leiden? So Leiden has a big collection of plant specimens from all around the world, in Borneo, including Borneo. I started off with Bornean orchids, so it was the perfect place for me. No need to explain about the connection between Leiden and Japan. For example, von Siebold, who traveled to Japan in the 19th century. In Hortus Botanicus, we still take care of some of the original plants which Siebold brought back from Japan. So what I'm doing here, now I'm writing a PhD proposal at Hortus Botanicus after finishing research project at Royal Botanic Gardens Kew in London, and then my master's at Leiden University. I'm thinking of exciting future plans, which include some European, Bornean, Japanese orchids, so all my interests combined. But what exactly is the theme of my project? As you may have noticed, I'm interested in these weird plants, mycoheterotrophs, especially mycoheterotrophic orchids that feed on fungi. I'm interested in how they quit photosynthesis and in what made it possible for them to exploit the fungal partner to the point that they can fully rely on the nutrients retrieved from them. So thanks to the advance in the biotechnology, we are able to see deeper in the world of DNA. Using new technologies, I will research the mainly unknown mechanism of the mycoheterotrophic mode of life to provide fundamental information to understand this ultimate evolution. I am well connected to the Japanese botany field, so for now, I don't have to worry about the accessibility to the Japanese orchids. But hopefully, sometimes in the future, maybe I can finally work on the CITES situation in Japan, because it's really making other researchers away from the other samples. But first, I have to establish myself as a true botanist, and then we will see from there. Thank you for your attention.